How are we doing, guys? Hacked Single Figures here. Right, I'm down at the Performance Centre at Howley Hall and I have with me a special new friend. Callaway Rogue Driver. So, I'm going to put this to the test today. I'm going to test it against my current driver, which is the Callaway Epic. So, we'll get it on Trackman and see how it stacks up against last year's driver. Exciting! Okay, so in my very inexperienced, don't really know much about clubs or technology knowledge, what's different about the Rogue? Well, firstly, and what I think is the most interesting thing with the Rogue is Callaway are not releasing the Rogue to replace the Epic. So Epic is still going to be for sale. They're going to sit alongside each other and they're both going to be in the market at the same time. So you'd have to expect that Rogue is going to suit a different type of golfer. It's improved for sure, otherwise they wouldn't have released it. The technology is improved. It's still got jailbreak in it. What's different about this year's jailbreak, I'm not too sure. It's a bigger head on the Rogue than the Epic. It doesn't have the adjustability, the same amount of adjustability as the Epic. So the Epic, if you look here, had this movable weight in the back of the golf club. Rogue doesn't have that. It's all sealed in this unit, although it does have an adjustable weight in the back. But I think that is only adjustable at the custom fitting option, so you can get heavier weight. I think it's 5 grams at the minute. By all accounts, Callaway is saying that this driver is faster and more forgiving than the Epic. So we'll have to see how that goes. Now, I think the other big difference is the colour. Epic was green, Rogue is turquoise. But no one really cares about what colour the driver is, as long as it goes down the middle. Right, so let's get it on Trackman 4, let's give it a whack, let's test them against each other and see how they get on. So I've hit both drivers, Epic and Rogue. I use the same shaft in both, so the shaft from my current Epic, which is a stiff Rogue Max shaft. So it's set up exactly the same as my Epic pretty much. And here are the results that we got with those. So these are the best shots pretty much that I hit with each driver. So what do you reckon? In terms of feel, I think I preferred the Epic, I'll be dead honest with you.
Why?
It just felt easier. It felt like I was more in control of it than I was with the Rogue.
Okay.
Rogue just felt a little bit more, just felt harder to control the head and subsequently the face of the golf club when I was hitting it. Just didn't feel I had as much control.
It does look bigger from face to back, really, I think.
Yeah, it definitely looks bigger, but and that does give you some confidence, but on hitting it, I just felt that I just preferred the Epic. So what, in terms of distances and all that kind of stuff, what, I mean, if you were fitting this driver?
Watching you hit it,
yeah,
there wasn't really, I mean, just purely without even looking at the Trackman numbers, there didn't really seem that much of a difference.
No.
The flights were quite similar. I think potentially dispersion we might see a bit of a difference, but I think it's, like I say, there's not really a lot to choose between them. I think, like we've said before, if you've got a driver that's 2, 3, 4 seasons old, you're going to see a huge difference in what you've got.
Yeah.
If you've got an Epic, you're probably not, because they've both got similar technologies. You know, with the jailbreak and weights that you can. I mean, in Rogue, although it's a fixed weight, you can get different weights to change the launch angle and things like that. So, if we just look straight at the TrackMan numbers, we can see. Let's look at carry and total distance to start with. So Rogue 210 through the air, Epic 212. So it's a couple of yards longer. So there's not really much in it there. I would say that's a very minimal. That could just be that you've struck a couple of Epics better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really a lot to choose from. Similarly, total distance, we've got sort of 2 yards in that as well. So we've got 237 to sort of 235 really. So again, there's not enough there for me to say that one's better than the other. One's carrying further and the other one's running further. So, but like I say, there's 2 yards in it. Spin wise, we can see Epic is a little higher. Now, you know, that probably explains some of the run we're getting with Rogue.
Yeah.
But again, this is based on average ground conditions, and you know that can be a variable that you can change anyway. But I think for you, particularly, spin can be quite a good thing with a driver, because it's just going to keep the ball in the air, really keep the flight, which I think sometimes it has a bit of a tendency to kind of dip out the air and maybe not fly quite as true as it could do. So, I mean, looking at that, there's not really much to choose. The only thing you can really see a big difference is spin, I would say. Ball speed is pretty much identical. There's not too much to choose between carry and total, like we've already said. But when we actually take a look at dispersion to start with, we can see that Epic in the white there is slightly tighter dispersed than Rogue. Now that could be just the way you've hit it on the day, but I think it's to do with that extra bit of technology that Epic has in it, and particularly for you, we tend to see that the face shuts down a lot on some of your bad shots, which means they go low and a bit sort of pull hooky left. Now, in your Epic, we've got that weight right in the toe to try and square the face up a little bit more and, you know, stop that toe flipping over through impact. And I think that has made some difference to the results that we're seeing here. So if we then look at the actual shots that we're hitting, so to start with, let's go Rogue. So if we click on that, we can see there that they're quite varied. There's some high, there's some low, there's some left, there's some right.
Spraying them all over.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd say it's fairly sort of true to what you would expect someone with a handicap to hit it. We're going to be hitting some weird, you might hit a fade and then a draw, or a pull and then a push. So it's and particularly as we're working on bits in your golf swing, we're going to get inconsistencies there as well. But really, when we look at Epic, which is the one you've been using a lot more, we can see it's a bit tighter, isn't it? With that left shot, it doesn't disappear, but it's kind of lessened, really, hasn't it? I mean, we have had a few finish left of target. We've had a couple of blocks there as well, but certainly where they're landing on the golf course is a bit more predictable. And like I say, that could just be the way you've hit it on the day, but that slightly higher spin can come into that as well. It can just keep that flight a little bit straighter in the air. So what we've lost in 2 yards of distance, we've gained in more than 2 yards of accuracy. So for me, I would stick with what you have, and that's kind of why Callaway have carried on with Epic in the range, is that if you do need that little bit more tweaking of the way that the club's set up, Epic offers that with that weight track on the back of the club. Now, the Sub-Zero models are very similar in both Rogue and Epic, which we've obviously had a bit of a look at as well. But I think the standard model of Rogue and Epic, there is that point of difference in Epic where there's the movable weight, which I think can really help players, particularly like yourself, who tend to really shut the face down a lot. Now, they do offer a draw model in Rogue, but not a fade one. So if they did a fade one, that might suit you. Do you know what I mean?
Draw wouldn't help me, would it?
No, absolutely not. So, you know, if they did do a model where the weight was more towards the toe, that potentially could stack up against your Epic. But on the evidence of what we've seen today, I would stick with what you've got.
Don't go changing.
No.
And I still got some of those left ones with the Rogue as well. Some of those really bad, destructive left shots.
Sort of a bit of a loopy one.
Yeah. So yeah,
They're both great drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you've got an Epic already, are you going to see that bigger difference with the Rogue? Potentially not.
No.
I would say if you've had an Epic and you've struggled to launch it or struggled to flight it properly, Rogue maybe will offer something that's a little bit more forgiving and easy to hit potentially. I think that was the only downfall of Epic I found when I was fitting it. It wasn't the most forgiving. I mean, you've hit most of those fairly good, really.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people I see for fittings, the strike marks are all over the face when we have a look at that. And I think potentially Rogue could get you a few more yards out of your misses than Epic. But certainly centred strikes, there's not really much to choose between it. But for you, accuracy-wise, Epic was up there,
Epic is still Epic.
It is, indeed.
So there we go, guys. Callaway Rogue tested against my current driver, which is the Epic. And I think you will agree that my Epic is probably going to stay in the bag and the Rogue will not go in it. But that's just me. I definitely reckon, you know, go and try it out for yourselves and see what you guys think. Is the Rogue something you're going to be looking at? Is that something you're going to go and have a little try of? Comment below and let me know. Right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, as always, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, click the button below and subscribe and follow me on this journey to single figures. Guys, thanks for watching. Catch you all soon.